This is Earl Amin with the 2024 Site Podcast, where CEOs of small to global companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. First of all, welcome. And in just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
By all means, Earl, thank you so much for having me on. My name is Stan Peake, and I'm the founder of InSite Performance Coaching, which is a executive coaching and business coaching firm. We help values-based entrepreneurs and executives grow their businesses, grow their impact, and grow their leadership.
Excellent, excellent. Well, tell me, what's the best thing about being the CEO of your company?
You know, the best thing about, say, being the CEO of the company is that I get to live my passion and my purpose every day, and I get to help other people, our coaches and our clients, do the same. So it actually is an amazing legacy and impact by just doing what you were called and put on this planet to do. That's the best thing for me.
Indeed, I'm with you there. So I hear from other CEOs that their biggest challenge sometimes is, how do we see the road ahead? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And I think that's probably top of mind for everybody these days. It was hard enough already, Earl. I mean, you have disruptive technology, the pace of change is quickening. You have increased globalization, where now you are competing with people not just in your local market or even in your industry, but you've got competitors across the globe. And that goes both with market share and with talent. So seeing the road ahead has been tougher than ever if we all think we need a crystal ball. I agree that's one of the biggest challenges, and one of the biggest reasons why CEOs have to be self-aware and run organizations that become self-aware.
Very good point. Thank you for that. So you just gave such good wisdom. I don't even know if this question is necessary, but I'll ask it anyway. What piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
Yeah, you know, I think the first place to start, Earl, is if you're beyond being self-aware. I believe self-awareness is the root of all leadership. But for CEOs in particular, I think it's important to be fanatical about the main pillars of culture. And those would be the purpose, the vision, the mission, and the organizational values. CEOs need to be fanatical about bringing those concepts to life every day, and they need to delegate almost every other aspect of business. CEOs need to be on the vision.
Excellent and well said. Well, what other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to acknowledge and should be on my podcast?
Yeah, there's a number actually. So one I can think of in particular is my boss in one of the other companies I'm involved in, Taryn Lipschitz. Taryn is based out of Toronto, Ontario, and she is the CEO of FSQ Consulting, Forget Status Quo. Really teaches people to embrace a different way of thinking. I would also like to recognize Alvin Pike, who is the CEO of Titan Logics. They're based out of Edmonton, Alberta, and they're doing some very innovative things in the automotive technology industry. And in a similar industry, Kevin Johnson, CEO of Coldfront, doing some remarkable things for, you know, culture, but also in keeping refrigerated goods moving along, which we both know that's you know, an essential service at this time. So they've been in the throes of a lot of change recently. So we'll start with them, and I'm sure I'm going to have a whole bunch more I have to email you.
Indeed, indeed, and I will thank you for that. So the final question, Stan, is how do you celebrate a win?
Yeah, you know, I think it is important to celebrate a win. I do that in a couple of ways. When we have our team meetings, we actually start every single team meeting, whether it's a whole team meeting or a one-on-one, with good news stories that we want to celebrate that are around client wins or around our organization living our values. Every single meeting starts the same way. What are the good stories? And we want to hear just the little victories about going above and beyond, a client seeing a win, teammates helping each other out, whatever the case may be. And I may not necessarily condone this, but for the really big wins, we've had a few bestsellers, or I've been through a couple merges and an acquisition. I've got my favorite tequila that usually a bottle lasts me a very long time because I just have a little sip for every big win. That's Class Azul. By the way, actually, their CEO needs to be on here, Arturo Lamelli. He's the founder and CEO of Class Azul Tequila. He's a values-based leader who also has a foundation. I'll introduce you. But that's how I celebrate the really big wins, be it a bestseller or a merge or anything like that.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Stan, it's been a great pleasure having you on. Tell us, how can people find you?
Yeah, they can find me one of two places, Earl. Thank you. I'm very active on LinkedIn, or they can email me, stan@getsuccessfaster.com. That one's easier to remember. Or stan@insightperformancecoaching.com. InSite is spelled INSITE, a double entendre and a very long story, but that's how people can get a hold of me.
Well, we'll get to that story when you come around next time.
Love to.
All right. This is Earl Amin with the 2024 Site Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for the Gray Owl Company. Stan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Earl. Have a wonderful day, brother.
Indeed.